When you think of Kansas roads, you don't typically think of this. However, recent budget cuts are requiring the Kansas Department of Transportation to reduce the amount of maintenance it performs on Kansas highways. The results for drivers are rougher roads and more potholes. As you may know, Kansas roads recently received the #1 ranking for highways and bridges by Reader's Digest. However, those rankings were based on studies done prior to these budget cuts. In the last year, KDOT has lost $257 million. And today, it will be spending less money on construction than it was in the 1970s. These cuts, combined with the harsh winter we experienced, have had a substantial impact on the condition of our infrastructure. The impact of these reductions will be felt all across the state. This map shows all of the projects that were scheduled to have preservation work that have been cut due to budget reductions. Here are a few pictures of the roads that will not be improved unless revenues are increased. In the 1980s, the majority of Kansas roads were in poor condition. However, in 1989 and again in 1999, the Kansas legislature passed transportation programs that allowed the state to greatly improve its infrastructure. Thanks to the investment Kansans made and to the commitment legislators and governors made to see it through, today the majority of Kansas roads are in good condition.
In my 20-plus years of work in transportation, one of the things I'm so proud of is being part of a public policy success story. No other state in our nation can rival the improvements we've made to our infrastructure in the last 20 years. That's why it frustrates me to see this investment lost. We need a revenue increase to preserve the investment that Kansans have made in their infrastructure and to spur economic development across the state.
A recent statewide poll revealed that 72% of Kansans are opposed to reducing highway maintenance to fill the state's budget gap, and for good reason. Not only is maintenance important for keeping roads safe, reductions in preservation spending also result in a loss of jobs. According to national studies, rough roads cost drivers an additional $400 in vehicle repairs every year, which only increases as highways decline. Without a revenue increase, Kansans can expect to see 50% of their roads in poor condition in as little as 10 years, which means the 20-year investments Kansans made to improve their infrastructure will have been lost. Transportation officials warn that we must spend more on our transportation systems or we will start a downward trend that will take years to recover from.
I serve on several national transportation committees, and one lesson learned from some states, including our neighbors, is that preservation gaps can take decades to recover from. We must act now if we want to avoid digging ourselves a hole. Quality infrastructure is critical for keeping drivers safe and encouraging new businesses to locate in our state. I know we're in tough economic times, but past transportation programs have helped generate economic growth and help the state weather economic downturns. It is important we fill this preservation gap today to have a more prosperous tomorrow.
The Kansas legislature is currently considering a transportation bill, commonly referred to as T-Works, that will fully fund the preservation gap. If the bill is passed, the state's infrastructure can be preserved at its current performance level. But if not, Kansans should look out for the rough road ahead.